Lurking is a role that has always had a place in Counter-Strike. It's about finding those jewels where your opponent isn't ready, by being in advanced spaces where the CTs would least anticipate.
Oh, the
Because
backstab,
get right. Oh my god, get right. How old school is that? Down banana. They had no idea why. Why would he be in CT spawn and it's goddamn get right? That's why.
One of the most common things that people used to say about Get Right, the 2 times HLTV winner of the year, is that Get Right is always behind you. And this gives a brief insight to the terror that an effective lurker can impose when he finds those perfect timings. We'll begin at the most basic level, before we look into what makes the master lurkers of World Counter-Strike. But first, let's talk about what a good lurker is and what separates the great from the good. Lurking will always have a place in Counter-Strike. It's a T-sided role where one or sometimes multiple players will make a play on the back of teammates elsewhere on the map. The easiest example to think of is the Palace player on Mirage. His 3 teammates in middle throw smokes and start taking it, and then they encounter multiple CTs and trades begin to happen. It's at this moment that the lurker activates and tries to catch the anchoring CT player on the A-bomb site who has 2 positions to hold whilst his team fight middle. Another example would be the lobby lurker on Nuke, who sits in the doorway holding the vent rotation, whilst his teammates of 4 secret try to plant the bomb. A good lurker understands when to either be aggressive or when to punish rotations. And the great lurkers understand that their positions need to have a balance of pressure with both utility and aggressive or defensive lurks. It's about getting the absolute most out of the space that you have. So let's get into it. Level 1, the solo player. There's no other way to say it. This is the player who plays to bait and get kills. He's always last alive and having no impact. He takes no risks with any of his lurks and always stays away from the team. If you're really lucky, then maybe he enables his microphone, throws a piece of utility at the start of the round. But usually you'll find him picking up 2 useless kills in a 1v5 when the round is already over, and then flaming his team for having less kills.
Guys, can you try to kill someone, please? You are all useless dogs.
Don't be this guy. Level 2, the liability. This player is completely the opposite. This is the player who you cannot trust at all. Imagine that you're in a Faceit game, you're playing Dust 2, and you're taking middle like on most rounds. You call for a smoke at the middle doors, you're in the lower tunnel with your teammate throwing a Molotov for you to clear it properly, and you're making sure that the CTs aren't playing aggressive. Before you can even get to the tunnels, your B player dies solo peeking, and your long player tries to sneak out and gets caught. The round is over in just seconds, but you breathe. You reset, and you tell your team that you're going to win the next one. And it happens again, and again. Sometimes your teammates kill, but mostly they die, and the game feels impossible to play. This is a common tilt trend that can make T-sides frustrating for everyone. It's important as a lurker to understand that you're playing too quickly and hurting your team with high-risk plays. Find that balance, and make sure to be predictable to your teammates, but at least try to communicate what you're going to do so others can help you. Guys, before we get back to the video, I'd like to tell you that me and the club are running a $500 giveaway for you, so don't skip the ad if you want to find out more. Me and Gamerlegion have decided to partner up with the club because they are one of the only fair CS2 platforms, offering hundreds of boxes and a ton of unique features. Please keep in mind that you can only play if you are 18 and older. The platform uses a provably fair system, meaning every drop is 100% verifiable and can't be manipulated. This means that everyone is on a level playing field. You'll find daily free boxes, giveaways, battle modes, and even community built boxes, where you can design your own box with any skins that you want. No need to stick with pre-made ones. Create as many as you like and share them with others. When you do win something you like, you'll really appreciate their instant withdrawal system. And if you don't get anything great, you can still try upgrading it. It's super easy to get started. There are tons of payment options, and if you click my link in the pinned comment, you'll get a bonus just for using it. To enter the $500 giveaway, simply follow these steps and use this promo code every time you top up your balance with $5 or more to collect up to a maximum of 500 tickets. So if you are over 18, check out SC by clicking the link in the pinned comment. Level 3, the unlucky one. The main issue with this player is that they simply aren't learning from their mistakes. When they lurk too late and miss a timing, it's because their opponent is very lucky and did something he wasn't supposed to. When they hold a defensive lurk and die, it's not because of a poor position, it's more focused on the push being made was bad, rather than the punish was missed. This player is trying their best, but their instincts are off. They lurk too slowly and miss timings, or too early and walk into expecting defenders. A common mistake that players stuck at a certain elo is that they are never making the wrong plays and it is opponent who did something that they shouldn't have done. So it has simply caught them off guard. To improve as a lurker, you need to be rewatching your games on the in-game demo viewer and question all of your decisions. Did I react too quickly that the CT didn't even have time to think about rotating away? Did I miss a timing by not trusting my instincts here? How did that player kill me on my angle so easily? You can check to see if it is a bad position from his point of view. Learn from your mistakes and your lurks will improve dramatically. Level 4, the pacifist. This is the player who is just too scared of making mistakes and opts to join his team after making small pressure in his position. Let's take a map like Anubis and focus on the B side of it. This is the player who really isn't confident in his timings, and so he plays it safe. Hold for the B push, make sure the CTs can't play too aggressive, and kill them if they do. If nothing happens, then I will use my utility so that their AWPer is denied information or to make the CTs throw something back. It isn't a useless role, but if this is the only pressure that is being made, then it will quickly be realised by the CTs the longer the game goes on. It is good to rejoin your team as a lurker sometimes, but it can't be always. Your job is to make the CTs scared to rotate and worried that your lurk could always be coming. This isn't possible if you never attempt to find a timing. Level 5. The Punisher. This is the player who makes it impossible to flank for the CT side. He is always holding angles and playing off angles that any rotation would simply have no chance against. But they're too one-dimensional. Rainwaker has changed his game up a lot since my team last played against them, and he was fantastic at what he did. The first time we played against him on Inferno, he destroyed us, putting up a 2.0 rating on the T side and punishing any aggression that we did. We were going to play Skade many more times in Inferno in the next year, and though our results were mixed, we could adapt to his playstyle and limit the impact that he was having. In all the occasions on Inferno, we would never go for the flank whilst he was unspotted, and this put their team into frequent 4v5s essentially, whilst he was holding to punish flanks that never came. Like I said, his game has since evolved and he's managed to find more balance. This is simply an extreme example that came to mind 5 years ago. Level 6, the Specialist. This player really understands the game at the highest level, and they have mastered one of two styles. The first style is a lurker who always plays with a lot of initiative, very aggressively, and will frequently try and find timings. And the second style is the map controller, one who always tries to stop rotations and let his teammates play first, who makes very few mistakes and always has good information for the team. A core limitation of the Specialist is that their style is always well known among the entire scene, and so the top teams know what to expect in most situations, especially the CT anchor players who are the ones most affected by these lurkers. While Specialists can step out of their comfort zone slightly, they are always heavily biased towards their style, so much so that they don't really catch their opponents off guard. In this game against Falcons, Jimfat posts a 1.29 rated T-side on the third map decider on Nuke. Jimfat isn't known for being aggressive with his lurking. He may grasp favourable opportunities, but in general, he plays more around the team than himself, and the stats mirror this sentiment. In the last 12 months, amongst the top 30 teams, only 4 players had fewer entry attempts on the T side, and they are all defensive-minded AWPers who focus more on supporting their team. As for the pressure in this game, there isn't anything special from Jimfat. As a lobby lurker, it's nice to sometimes not throw a lurk smoke to threaten the prospect of multiple Ts holding the angle to punish a wide swinging CT from main. And bonus pressure can come in the form of a Molotov to main to get the CTs more concerned about fast A play. So for this game, Jimfat will throw a classic door lurk smoke in every buy round. Jimfat can make those aggressive plays, he just does it in a predictable way to his teammates. In this round, Maus are playing with 4 outside players and Spinks running over the silo towards CT spawn. Jimfat has no intention of going out on A, as we see his position next to the hut. But he shows initiative to find a trade frag on the vent player after he realises it's Kiksan who traded his teammate. Jimfat isn't in position at all to react, but he does it so quickly that he can still make it work. And so, he finds a lurk that makes sense and has a high impact. In this next round, however, we see more of that calculated side to his game, and the team player that he is. He's in position near the door, ready to play if something happens to his teammates outside. And it does. The door player makes 2 kills and gets traded. And this is a huge indication that door is weak. However, as this is happening, he hears Munity rushing towards the vent to make his rotation. You can see here there is a small window where Jimfat could have sneaked out and found a timing onto a rotating Tessus. But he decides it isn't worth the risk and declines, which is absolutely fine by the way. And this is a sneak peek into his identity, as later in the same round, Brolin tries to sneak through a gap into main, and Jimfat does exactly what good teammates do. He makes a distraction by throwing his utility and then comes through the CT's door smoke after Brolin gets close. It's sound decision making, even if it isn't the highest risk. And the final example again shows that calculated mentality that helps his team. His entire team manages to get down secret unseen, and then the whole map goes quiet. Lots of other lurkers in this situation would play aggressively in the lobby to try and find 1 kill if the CTs decide to push for information, as it becomes more likely due to the 4 smokes being used outside and the map being silent. But Jimfat plays in a predictable way that makes sense, spotting the lobby push safely from the roof and then later moving down into a more aggressive position once nothing happens. Had Maus not killed both B players for free, then I anticipate he would have flanked through the vents to end the round. So we talked about the positives of this playstyle, but what else is there to say? The limitation of having a well-known playstyle is that it's much easier for the anchor players to predict. The chances of a pesky vent dive are low. A random solo peek through the hut almost doesn't exist, and usually Jinfat will be defensively in the lobby and playing when makes most sense. Jinfat isn't really making any mistakes at all. He's great at what he does, but this is the player that he is, and these solo entry plays won't really be coming from him in his positions. Level 7, the Nightmare. From a preparation standpoint, this player is exactly what you don't want to come up against. This is the player who has a great balance to his lurking, whilst constantly creating pressure in his positions as well as being a clutch king. Nobody ticks these boxes better than Rops. For simplification's sake, let's stick to Dust 2 to really express how well Rops does his job. Common play for CTs to make at the B-bomb site is to have one player jiggle with a smoke for as long as possible to buy better timings later in the round, as they will have bonus utility by not using it early. CTs can often mask this by sending their AWPer to hold the tunnels, or having two players in a line set up like Spirit have here. Rops recognises that the CT might be holding a smoke, and so he grabs Flamesy next to him and swings to prevent this, thus creating pressure on the B player. They go 1-for-1 and later win the round in the 4v4. A couple of rounds later we see Vitality group up for a short execute, and Rops, as the B player, typically would have the choice of staying around the tunnels or joining his team. But Rops is always trying to find those lurker timings and spaces. And as his team goes out on short, Rops peeks the long doors and finds a great timing onto the unready Tania. This is the B player acting as the long player. And Vitality allow this to happen because they know that Rops is the master of knowing when to make his move. Had he gone a moment earlier, then Tania would catch Rops in an awkward position as he rotated towards the A-bomb site, and a moment later means Tania is in time to help Shiro and Chopper against the short execute. We see that third level of lurking in the next buy round, where Rops will instantly throw a B lurk smoke which potentially could be the sign of a B pop. This keeps Donk on the B bomb site for longer, and gives Vitality an easier time to take middle without having to contest the area against one of the best players of all time being here. We later see Rops again take up this long lurk as Vitality executes short, but he isn't needed on this occasion. Rops did an outstanding job of making the B player's job harder, and finding a presence elsewhere on the map. But why was this so effective? Surely Spirit would be ready for this. After all, everyone knows that Rops is a great lurker. For that, we'll come back to the preparation part. And we'll look into the game just before this one, against the Mongols on Dust 2. In the anti-eco round, Vitality executes short, and Rops is holding for the CT long push and to catch any players trying to fast flank middle behind Vitality. After losing this round, we then see Rops grouping with his team on short in a 5-man execute, as Zywo wins the 1 versus 1 clutch. For the next round, Vitality will go for a long pop in the mid round, and Rops is totally alone, walking out into middle shortly after the trades start happening. And just look at the timing here that Rops makes against Blitz. Blitz was fully ready for this play from 1 minute 37 until 1 minute 10. And Rops walks out of the door at 1 minute and 8 seconds on the instant that Blitz moves towards A and then back into position. Somehow, with a 2-second gap, Rops managed to find and kill Blitz in the side. A few rounds later, we see Vitality going for the long rush. And this time it's Controllers who finds himself dying off guard to a sneaky Rops play at the mid doors. He makes the kill, adds extra pressure by smoking the B split, and then even finds an extra kill onto the searching B player. And for the last round of the game, Rops will spend the majority of the round holding for the B push whilst Vitality do their map control, before later grouping short with his team. We basically saw 2 completely different games in back-to-back maps from Rops, and this is how he's able to evolve his game and always be effective. How can you prepare for someone who can effortlessly change everything and find all of these perfect timings? This is something that Rops is doing on all of his positions on every map, and is one of multiple reasons as to why he was the number 3 ranked player on HLTV this year. This was 7 Levels of Lurker. Let me know if you enjoyed it in the comments below, and as always, please leave a like and subscribe. See you next time.